Bang! Neeves Knives. I'm Jared, and we are live, ladies and gentlemen, live on Neeves Knives. How's everybody doing tonight? So we are going to have to take a little tiny short break here in a few minutes. My cousins just come by. All I'm doing is just running them out, the knives I sharpened for them, and some boots. So it'll be really quick, but I'm just letting you guys know that I'm going to have to pause the stream for 2 minutes. And it'll be really quick, though, like literally super fast. So not a problem. Give you guys a chance to take a bathroom break. Ian, last time I called, it was like 35 years ago. What in the hell are you guys talking about? So I do not have anything written down for today's live, so I figured we just shoot the shit about knife sharpening and knives in general. I do have a couple things that I just wanted to talk about. Like one thing I did write down on the list of stuff that I was planning on making, but I never finished it. But you know what I've seen a lot lately? And it's starting to, like, at first it was like, just like, okay, it's just abnormal. But now it's starting to become normal where I'm starting to see AUS 10 for over $200. Is it just me, or have you guys seen like many knives? Like I've seen like 4 or 5 knives right now, like in the past like 3 weeks, that have AUS 10 and are like over 200 plus. Like what? Like I don't know what they're thinking. Like why does AUS 10, like I don't know if, so my thoughts is that prices are going up significantly, and they're trying to figure out a steel that they can still make a profit on. And that might be the case, that in order for them to make a profit and make it even worth making the knife, maybe, I mean, I don't know. AUS 10 8015 light for 55. Well, there's tons of knives with AUS 10 for $50. Like $50 is a normal thing, you know, for AUS 10. Like there's most knives in AUS 10 are under $65 or under $75 at the, you know, at the highest. That's why it's so abnormal to see it over $200. It's so crazy to me. Holy crap, I haven't been here in months. Love you, dude. Thank you, Steven. Love you too, man. I appreciate you coming through. But yeah, I'm trying to think of all the knives I've seen with it. I mean, the obvious one is like the 5 Max. I think that one's wasn't that AUS 10, but there was like a bunch of them, but there was another one that was a titanium knife, a premium knife. And I looked at it and I was like, wow, this is a really cool knife. Like I was loving it up until I seen this. I was like, what? AUS 10, but now I can't remember which one it was. I wish I would have wrote that part down. But hey, you know, it's so, I think of so many knives that, man, sometimes, you know, it just, oh, I found it. I know which one it is. I know which one it is now. Here, I'm going to show you guys. I know exactly which one it is. And you guys are it's going to be hilarious. I'll just show you guys. This is just one example, again, just one, but the Andre de Villers Tactical Bull Shark, AUS 10 steel, $265. Now you're probably thinking, well, yeah, but it's made in the USA, right? No, it's made in South Africa. South Africa, yeah, I don't know the price difference in South Africa, but to my knowledge, South Africa is less than us. You can get things more affordably it's to my knowledge, in South Africa than in the United States. But regardless, like $265 for AUS 10, that is just crazy. I thought these knives were, you know, I mean, I guess these things normally go for like 400 with like S35 VN, so maybe it kind of makes sense, but he's just trying to make it more affordable to the audience. Oh. My bell's got a magnet hook to it. There you go. Alicor Paracord, been a member for 14 months. That is what's up, man. That is love. Thank you. Thank you, Alice. I appreciate it. Shout out to you and your husband. Mayhem and 5 Max have AUS 10 versions. There you go, but we don't call it the Mayhem anymore. Oh, no, you're talking about the Mayhem Cold Steel. Cold Steel. Yeah, okay. Yeah, the Cold Steel Mayhem. Yes, that has AUS 10. And that's over $200. That was the only reason why I didn't get that knife. I didn't get that. There was another one. Yeah, that's the reason why I didn't grab that knife either. I didn't grab it because it was so much money, and I didn't mind that it was that much money because I kind of feel like the knife, is kind of acceptable at that if it had S35 VN. But what I can't wrap my head around is that I bought the smaller version, the Engage for what? $150 with S35 VN. They have another version for like $55 that's smaller. Now I know it's not as big as the Mayhem, however, it's still the same locking system, same materials, things like that. And then you look at their other things, like look at their 8010s, their 80, all their big ass knives, even their 4Maxes and stuff. Like none of those are that expensive with that steel. So I just don't see how. I know it's a new knife, so I guess that's where you're like, it's a new knife, so it's it's going to be popular. So what they'll probably do is lower the price after people stop buying it. Super Steel Steve says all the American steels that have to be imported to South Africa cost a ton with import fees and duty. Okay. But OS 10 wouldn't be imported from the United States, would it be? Oh, you're just saying imported, period. Maybe. But because OS 10's Japanese, ain't it? Am I wrong about that? VG10's Japanese. Sorry, VG10's Japanese. Did Magna Cut replace M390 as the IT steel? I would say yes, as long as it's over a certain HRC. I would say yes. I would say it's still okay at 62, but I would say 63, 64 is where we really want to see it. Maybe even a little bit higher in some cases. But just like M390, M390 is great if it's done well. It's just never done well. It's always done softer than it needs to be. And, you rarely ever see it in small batch. You always see it in large batch production. So, yeah, import taxes and duty are crazy in South Africa. Yeah, I didn't, like I said, I wouldn't know, so, but I think, just across the board, we're seeing that. And that's why I was saying just a minute ago, like, I feel like that companies are just looking at it like, in order for this to make sense to us, because they were probably, you got to think, like, if they're making 50%, let's just throw out a number. Like, let's say they're normally making 50%, then all of a sudden prices are going up. Now they're making 20%, right? But all their bills, all their people have to pay, everything else adds up more than that, right? You got to start figuring that shit out. And it's going to have to come down to the consumer, especially if the materials and, everything else is going up. Midway USA had the Mayhem and S35 for $259. Very cool. I don't know if I didn't know if I seen one in S35 VM, but okay, cool. Is there a steel shortage issue? Maybe with some steels, but I don't think with a lot of them. But I think the price is just going up because the price is going up for everything, right? The price goes up for everything. It's like, it's just the way it is. All right, guys. Give me 1 second. Yo. All right. No problem. All right, guys. Give me 2 minutes. I'll be right back. I'm back. So that wasn't too bad, was it? What? Booty call on the line. Yeah, exactly. Pizza arrived. I've tried to read articles on knife steel nerds, but the eyes gloss over instantly. That happens to a lot of people. A lot of people can't handle it. You know, I used to be like that too. Even though I was so fascinated with steels, you know, I would be super fascinated with listening to somebody about steels, but I just couldn't read about it. It was just, and also there is some ignorance there because like there was words like that I would be reading. It's like, I don't know what the fuck this means. And it's better if somebody's explaining it because then they can say what that word means. Jared, do you want us to send you our man? You guys got one? Yeah, maybe. Yeah, I'd love to check that out. Hell yeah. Are there any even available anymore? Are they still for sale? PM2 and Magna Cut. Just saying. I don't grasp steel compositions like Neeves or Kyle does. I'm actually not really that good at it, to be honest. Like, I understand it from a user's point of view, sharpening point of view, but not from like a knife making point of view. Like, I'm 100% illiterate when it comes to understanding the compositions and all of that stuff. You know, like that's the area that I need to educate myself more in. I'm more educated in the part like the edge retention and toughness and you know edge stability because that's what I've tested. That's what I've done. You know, I've never done you know like I've never really researched like all the chemical compounds, you know, it's inside the steel because it just didn't relate to anything I was going to be able to say because I always looked at it as if I'm going to relay a message to the audience, I can't lose them, right? And while some people might be able to stick around through a lot of big words, a lot of people can't. A lot of people are like, I have no idea what the fuck he's talking about. This is way out of my league. So I think it's really good. And this goes for anybody trying to teach something. Dumb it down. Dumb it down as much as possible. That's how you'll hold people's attention. You have to dumb it down as much because the people that do understand, they already understand, right? So the people that you're trying to speak to, they don't. So since they don't, just dumb it down as much as possible. Then they can get to grasp it. And then over time, after hearing it dumbed down so much and for so long, then they can start catching up, you know, and start understanding. Jerry, knife brand on Amazon called Win Plus is making really good knives in D2 with G10 scales for 17 bones. Don't know how they're doing. I figured it'd be trash. Basically, a Sencut slash Ganzo. There are so many of those off-brand companies. You know, a lot. The problem I have is some of them I'm worried that they're, you know, like some of the OEMs that they're probably using because a lot of them are not OEMs themselves. Are going to, you know, Ethan Grow and shit like that. Which, granted, even though Ethan Grow might be doing better now, I just they shit. In my opinion, they shit the bed already. So, you know, I personally can't do any business with them. But I don't, you know, I'm not saying that company, but you know, I know a lot of companies go to them for OEM shit. It's like San Remnu, I don't have a problem with. They're really good. Um, Can you explain to the folks at home what the Neve Knife Co. website is about? I think the folks need an explanation. Okay, so me and a buddy started a knife dealer site. So where I'm gonna reach out to companies, get knives that well, I'm gonna try to mostly get knives I like on there first. You know, maybe in the long run, there'll be is this thing blurry? Maybe in the long run, it'll be knives that are, you know, random and maybe there'll be stuff on there that I don't like. But I'm gonna try to only have things on there that for the most part, like there might be some new stuff that I haven't tried yet and I won't know until I get it. And then once they're on the site, you know, whether I like them or not, but I'm not gonna let it affect my, you know, me being honest about it. If I think it's a piece of shit and I don't like it, I'm just gonna say it, regardless if it shoots me in the foot or not. You know, it's just what it is because it would do me no good to lie about it and then you buy it and realize it's a piece of shit. That doesn't do me any good. So it has to be what I say it is. Now, that's also why it's in my best interest to put knives that I already like on there, right? Knives that I already have confidence in, that I think are good quality, blah blah blah. Now, um, but yeah, we're selling knives on there. Now, my whole plan, the big master plan, is to get some companies' knives on there that I think will do well, that I think are good quality. And then at the same time, get some of my own knife designs on there. As you guys know, I want to start designing knives. I'm going to try to get some OEM work done. I'm going to try to get some collaborations in, and get some knives on there of my own stuff, get merch on there, things like that. We're looking into some USA made apparel right now. So if I can get some knife art on like USA apparel, I think that would be dope. I'm not talking about like the stuff you see underneath my videos, like that's from like Teesprings or whatever. I'm talking about like real 100% USA apparel with real good knife art, like knife art that I did, like stuff that you actually like, not like the weird sayings and stuff like that, but like actual, like really something nice that you would wear somewhere, like something that you wouldn't be embarrassed to wear, anywhere, that just looks kind of normal. I got a few ideas in mind, of different kinds, but something that looks a little bit more stylish, that doesn't that doesn't look gaudy or doesn't look stupid or whatever. But so that's another plan, and then and yeah, we'll see how it goes. We'll see how it does. I reach for the stars and hit the moon, so we'll see how it goes. Just sent you the Midway link for the Mayhem. There are 18 left. I don't have a link for Midway, so what I was asking is if I could link it. That's what I was asking. Is it available at one of my affiliates? I mean, I'll still check it out, but it's cool if I am checking it out, because if I really like it, it's nice to be able to link it. How do you start a knife company and get the big companies like CRK? Well, you just reach out to them. They have a sales rep. Every company will have a sales rep that you can contact and talk to. Like we're already in contact with Kershaw and ZT. We're gonna work on the other guys too, like Spyderco and Hogue and shit. But yeah, you just got to reach out to the sales rep. But yeah, I'm blessed enough because I have connections, right? Like I don't look past that. Like I definitely have connections with a lot of these companies because I can contact them pretty much, very easily. Even like ZT and Kershaw, like I can get a hold of them pretty quick. John, do you? Oh, that's not for me. PM2 and S45 or MagnaCut. I would pick MagnaCut because Spyderco does a really good job with their steels, and in my opinion, MagnaCut would be superior to S45 because of the corrosion resistance and toughness, and edge retention. So it's superior in every way. Hope all is well. Excited for the new website. Was interested in the custom ballast song, but didn't pull the trigger. Looking forward to seeing what all is coming. Well, it's still available. Just so you know, that is still available, but I actually have it sitting right over here. That's I don't, I'm not a Bally guy, so I don't, know all the other custom makers or anything, but I can say that this is the smoothest Bally I've ever experienced. But it's also the most expensive one I've ever experienced. And yeah, it definitely has like a unique sound that I've never even heard from any other ballast song. Like, here, I'll just grab it, you guys can listen. It's very unique. So like if you just like, it's so, let me make sure I'm grabbing the right handle. These are very expensive though, I personally, like I said, I'm not in the Bally club, so I can't speak to whether or not it's worth it or not or anything like that. But to my knowledge, like his orders are like, I don't know. I hear like a lot of these guys have orders backed up, so they're supposed to be a reputable Bally maker. So I'm thirsty for a MagnaCut PM2. Well, they got a bunch of MagnaCut coming out, so I think before BCK closed its doors, Victorinox refused to sell with them. Who's BCK? I don't know who that is. You guys know that here in a few days, Spyderco has a an exclusive with GP knives coming in Rex 45. We'll be checking that out here pretty soon. Jared, don't go flipping that ballast song when you're at the urinal. Let's make sure we get a chance for Neve Knife Co. to remain a family business. That's true. That's true. Let's do that. Which is better, EDC, Quiet Carry Drift L or the 9? To be honest, the Drift. The Drift is a better EDC. The 9 is fidgetier. So the 9 has better action because it's on bearings and it's incredible and it's very ergonomic. But the Drift has a 90,000 under 90,000 blade stock thickness. This thing is an absolute laser beam. It is so slicey, and you know, just the ergos and everything. You know, it's just it's a slim knife, but it's comfortable and it slices so good, and it's not, the action's not bad. Look at this thing. I mean, it's really good. But the other one, you know, it's more like fall shut because it's on bearings. So, but yeah, the Drift is definitely a better EDC. Did anyone get the EMP EDC Pulse today? I did not, but man, that would have been a cool one to get. Yeah, please, if you start to get knives like Hinder, Cohen, etc., have it where it's one per customer. Yeah, I probably would if I was able to do that. I would probably do that because I wouldn't want, you know, somebody coming in and buying like 5 of them, you know, because in that case they should just go to the dealer, you know, and do shit like that. Like that doesn't make any sense. So yeah, I'd probably do that for specific knives like that. See a lot of people complaining about the late lockup on the Drift because of that thin blade stock. That's thin blade stock though. That's not late lockup. Yeah, that's not late lockup. That's just thin blade stock. Thin blade, you can't expect something to be thin. Okay, put it this way. Would you rather super light lockup on a super thin blade? Right? That you don't want that. Like that doesn't make any sense because it's, the thinner it is and the earlier it is, the less material that it has contact with. So I would say that this is early lockup for any other knife. It just happens to be a thin blade, so it looks like it's, you know, 50%. I'm not mad at that. I don't care about that at all, especially from a company like that, because they'll, like, if I had issues, I could just send it to them and they'll fix it. So, you know, give a shit. See a lot. Yeah. So, like, if anybody has a problem with that, just if they ever have an issue, right? What would be the issue? The issue would be it getting to 100% lockup and then it eventually getting blade rock. That would be the issue. Until it gets blade rock, like it's a solid knife, right? But if it did get blade rock, send it back to the company. They'll fix it. They'll throw a new stock pin in it and you know, tune it up, or steel lock bar insert or something. Did anyone get any of the bench? Wait, did anyone get any of the Benchmade limited editions in Magna Cut? I did not. I didn't even know that they had some coming. I haven't been paying as much attention to Benchmade. I will say there is some new stuff coming from ZT and Kershaw very soon. So just so you guys know, video coming soon, and hopefully we'll have a couple of them on the site. Hopefully, easy join pre-order. But you should put a best fidget knives as a category on your site. No one has one. That's not a bad idea. That's actually not a bad idea at all. I do want to get like sharpening supplies on there. That's another thing I want to get. I want to make sure I get sharpening stuff. I would love to work with a company and do my own stones. I'm not sure if, you know, how long that'll be until I do that, but that is a plan. That is something I've been wanting to do for a couple of years now. So I'd love to have my own diamond plates, you know, I'd love to have my own resin bonded diamond stones. So, but we'll see how things go, you know, but I do plan on getting sharpening supplies on there, regardless if they're mine or not. Jared, have you pinched the hell out of yourself with that gray clicker yet? No, I don't think so. No. Hurts like a son bitch, but it builds character. I don't think this one, it's gotten me. I mean, I don't know how it would. I got real tough skin, so maybe it doesn't. I just don't notice. The 9 is a nicer knife, but now they have them in Magna Cut. I have one and grabbed another. Yeah, so I love the 9. I love them both. So like if somebody asked me to pick one, it would be a very difficult choice. A very, very difficult choice. Because I feel like I like the 9 more, but there's something about the drift that I like more than the 9. So there's like it's like this one's better at these things and this one's better at these things, so it equals them out. And that's kind of the way I feel about them. So thank you, Dennis. Yes, there is the Neve Knife Co. link. There's nothing on there now except for a couple more iron mutts. I think there's only 3 left. One of each, or one of there's three different ones. There's 5 different models total of the iron mutts. We have 3 different versions left, one of each. So not very much left. So that's a win. That means that we pretty much sold out, which is good. You know, that says a lot. And I do appreciate all the support, guys. I seen right away, I seen the sales coming in, and you know, it lit me up, man. It lit me up. And I seen you guys commenting too, you know, saying you guys, oh, I just purchased one. I went right away and purchased one. I can't tell you how good that made me feel, man. So I greatly appreciate the support. It's huge, man. It's a huge thing because, you know, the biggest thing is nobody wants to fail, right? Of course, nobody wants to fail. So when you first start something, you're always going to be like, you know, is this going to do well? You know, things like that. And then you wonder, like, how long is it going to last? You know, things like that. So to see it start off fairly well, like we didn't have a ton of shit. So, but that's also planned. We're, you know, because investing in a ton of shit, you know, could backfire. So, you know, we're going to slowly get there. We'll get there though. Been a member for 13 months. Just Nate. Thank you for the support, man. Hey, Jared, hope you're well. Thank you. I do appreciate it. Hey, do we have a members live tomorrow or is that next week? Do you guys remember? I can't remember if we did one last week or not. New Civivi bull tusk coming out soon in 14C big knife. I'll tell you what, man, this new Civivi. Did I ever show the video on that? Yeah, I did. Where the hell is it? Oh man, that new Civivi is really dope. The man, where the hell is it? Unless it said it somewhere. That new one I just showed in what was it, yesterday's video? I think it was yesterday's. That thing is super slicey. That full flat grind, it gets down like it's a full flat, like not almost a full flat. It's a full flat, and that sucker, like kind of like a chef knife or something. It's super slicey. Of all the knife channels, this is my favorite live stream. Thank you, Joe. I appreciate it, man. I wish we had a better show tonight for you. You know, some better topics. So maybe we'll start having the audience spit out some topics and we'll talk about those. I can't remember the name of the one Civivi that I'm talking about, but oh, it's right here. Here it is. The Amorite. Somebody said a joke in the comments. They're like, "Am I right?" Yeah, this thing's pretty dope. This thing is super slicey. It's going to be hard to see, but yeah, it's very, very slicey. The detent is fantastic, especially for a button lock. It's a fantastic detent regardless, but it's a big knife too. This one's not a small knife. It's a nice large knife, which I also appreciate. And I think it's in Nitro V. Yeah, Nitro V steel. Good sharpening tool and plunge grind. Very thin edge. I think it's down to 14 thousandths behind the edge. But, you know, you can see that taper, that nice, tall, full flat grind. Sucker cuts. Cuts like a some bitch. I can't remember either. Somebody's got to remember. Somebody's got to remember. Did we do a members live last week or is that this week? I cannot remember for the life of me. As a knife maker, it always kind of frustrating to have a blade sit in the shop for months. Yeah. Yeah, I expect that to eventually happen, and I do think that that's just the name of the game eventually. I'd prefer if the first couple months or first few months, you know, were knives that were constantly being sold fast, and then warm up to letting some knives sit, you know, because you know, anytime you're investing in something, you can't you know, it's difficult, you know, to sit on anything because that means that there's less, you know, investing going back in. So, but we'll see how it goes. The carbide structure on 15V steel, when not heated properly, looks pretty messed up. Yep. There's one tomorrow. We got one tomorrow. All right. Members live tomorrow, ladies and gentlemen. Members live tomorrow. Is there any company that offers tartan micarta? Tartar sauce micarta? I don't know. I don't know what that is. I get a boner over 15V when it's done right. Is that weird? I mean, depends on who you ask. Yeah, it should be the last one I remember before my B day. It's been 2 weeks. So yeah, all right, yeah, we got one tomorrow. So I will see you guys tomorrow at 12:15 Central Time for a members live. You got to restock that quick every time you got to restock that quick every time someone tries to use you and can't. That's tough. What? Maybe go with the weekly or monthly drops. Could be a great way to market limited inventory. So I'm at the, you know, at the mercy of them, you know, the companies. It's what the companies have, what the companies are willing to let go. You know, like as far as getting anything brand new just dropping, that's tough because other companies already got dibs. So, you know, I got to get my foot in the door with the things that I can get while I can get them. You know, I'm sure I could pull some strings, you know, and get companies to work with me just because, you know, but I don't want to do business like that. You know, I want to make sure it's, you know, all legit, and you know, I'm asking in a very nice way. You know, if they have the ones to spare, then they can you know, work with us. You got to restock that quickly. Bang gang live tomorrow. What'd you say? No politics, Aaron says. Well, don't say that. Now everybody's gonna spit out shit. Crewwear is the best. Crewwear is the best became a YouTube member. That is a hilarious name. I thought you were about to say something about Crewwear. Thank you, man. I appreciate the support, and I will see you tomorrow at 12:15 Central Time. 12:15 Central. We will be doing a live knife sharpening. Am I right? Needs a flipper delete and a hole. Am I right? Exactly. Yeah, I think that would be dope. That would be really cool. I'll tell you what, though, the flipper tab and thumb stud action works great. 14C28N and Nitro V are brothers from another mother. Yes, they are. Yes, they are. They're very, very similar. Even in use, sharpening, you know, it's very difficult to tell the difference between Nitro V and 14C when you're sharpening it. Can we see and hear the Herman? Yeah, we can do that. We can see that. Which one? I think, oh, it's right here. One right here. That's not the one. We want to hear this one. Oh yeah. That thing sounds like, oh. Damn amazing. It feels like my detent on the Sting just got stronger and stronger as I've had it. This thing is like when I first got it, the detent wasn't super strong. Now, man, it is strong, man. I don't know if the detent ball just finally broke in, but it is very strong. In a good way, though. Sounds like magic. It's still perfectly centered. Yep. Yeah, these Hermans are pretty damn sweet. I know they're expensive, but they are really, really good. You know, they're right up there. Like I always say, you know, they're like the Haptics, the Koenigs, the Rosies. You know, they're right there with those. Now, personally, I would love to get me a Holt. That's definitely one of my grails is a Holt. Awesome, Spider G. Well, we'll see you tomorrow. Hopefully you're able to show up. Hopefully everybody's able to show up, because that's the thing. I know some people, they have things, they got family, they got this, they got that. But hopefully people that our members are able to kind of know, like, hey, on Sundays at 12:15, I got sharpening to do, or, I got a live to hit. And if we ever, if people have a hard time making it at that time, just let me know. We'll adjust it. We can always adjust the times. Do you feel that Chinese knife companies are honest when they say a knife has a premium steel such as S90V, etc.? I wonder who can actually know the difference if they don't sharpen their knives. Yeah, I'd say that the thing is that they've been tested. There's people in the community like LTK who has tested damn near every single company steel out there, even the USA stuff, to all the chain, everybody's stuff. Now he's also done a lot of HRC testing on it too. So yes, there are some companies out there that completely lie, fucking full of shit. But then there's a lot of them that are the reputable ones that have never failed a test because they're super reputable. Now, the thing where they're going to do negative on or bad on is the HRC test. So, there's some companies doing well. There's some companies that aren't doing so well. There's some companies that are mediocre. I do think that some people do get a little too bent out of shape to some extent when it's when you get a knife, right? And I'm speaking specifically about like we and Best Tech, right? I bitch. So this is me too doing it, because you guys hear me all the time bitching, saying I wish they would, up their HRC. But I also understand that they're not ripping us off, right? It's not that. Like some people feel like that, but I personally don't, because I'm looking at the knife, right? And the knife itself is so good, and everything else is so good on it, the geometry, and it's not a bad heat treatment. Like I've sharpened and tested many of them. So I know they're not bad heat treatments or anything like that. They're just slightly on the softer side. So they wind up having a much less edge retention. In some cases, much less, in some cases, just a little less, but less edge retention than it could be. Most people aren't going to really notice that. Now, I'm not saying that that's a good argument, because it's not. But yeah, I still think a lot of their stuff is still, worth every penny, because they're so, like, if you tried to compare them, and if you compared them to some USA companies, or just some companies in general, period, like there's some companies that are just leading the pack when it comes to fit, finish, tolerances, consistency across the board. That's a huge thing, right? Getting 20 of the same model and them all feeling identical, like that's tough. That's really tough. Listen to like Medford when he's talked about that. Like that was like one of the most frustrating things he ever had to deal with, was trying to get the knife to be the exact same between 5 models, like let alone 100, let alone 1,000, right? So that says something when you have very little error among a lot, right? Like when you can put out 1,000 pieces and only say 30 of them, like, or no, I wouldn't say lemons, but have defaults or little issues, that's fucking good. You're doing really good. But yeah, so wait, sorry, the first half was butchered. Okay. I will let Kyle know about. Yeah, he definitely needs to learn. You need to tell Kyle that he should definitely be the first one there and the last one out the door. By the way, Lacey, if you're in here, I've been sending some sharpening your way. I'm not sure. Hopefully the people got a hold of you and told you I sent them. Let's see here. Let's talk about this. What is the deal with so many companies anymore under heat treating tempering steels to the point where it affects the steel's potential? What the fuck? Give us what we are paying for. Well, that's kind of what I was just arguing about just now, is that, I think some companies, they're doing so much already, that their knives are impeccable, aside from it being slightly on the softer side. Not bad heat treatment, just slightly on the softer side. So I, like, it's hard. Granted, I want them to be harder. I want it to have better. I want all that. I want it to be perfect. but you also, you know, you got to hold some companies to a certain type of standard. And I think they're at least hitting that standard, you know, like think about how good some of these knives are. People that haven't been in the knife community, that have only been in the knife community the past few years, don't realize how far the communities came in the past 10 years. Look at look at knives 10, 15, 20 years ago. Okay, so like in order to get the most extremely good, best knives in the world, you had to go to customs, right? Now, OEM work and production knives are absolutely smoking custom knives as far as folding knives goes. Like not talking about face plates, folding knives, you know, where there's moving parts and everything. I haven't seen a custom knife except for a handful. There's been a handful of custom knives that can even touch what React does. You know, and it is what it is. You know, granted, if you don't like Chinese knives, that's fine. You don't have to buy China. There's Koenig Ariuses. There's plenty of USA companies that are even better than React. So I'm not saying there's not, but as far as paying under $500 for a knife, you know, even under $400 in some cases, and getting the best in the world, that's what we're getting. You know, you got to think, man. In the knife community, we are getting the best knives in the world. We're handling and owning, you know, the best. Like, granted, obviously there's some knives made out of gold and all that stuff, but as far as high quality knives go, you know, these companies are leading the pack and doing work that you never would have thought they'd be able to achieve. Like the things that we were like, even back in the day, you know, I remember when I first started the community, getting a consistent detent was not normal. You got some knives that had good detents and some knives had shitty detents, like just absolutely horrific, but they were still good knives. So people would like them. People would love them because they weren't used to consistent detents yet. We weren't to the level of which we could argue for good detents. It was great when you got it, but if you didn't, it wasn't a big deal because it wasn't the norm. Now, all of a sudden, 10 years later, 5 years later, wherever, every fucking budget knife company at $20 is making consistent detents. You know, so we've came a long way. They say pimping ain't easy, Jared, but what they won't tell you is that it's much harder to be a prostitute. That's absolute facts right there. That is definitely true. Keep your pimp hand strong. Oh man, see, you can't even ask me that because I absolutely love it, but I can't, you know, I got to be careful with handling it too much because then I'll wind up carrying it, wind up using it, wind up scratching it, wind up sharpening it, you know. So I need me a mini Sting fully dressed. Jared said he was going to buy me one. Did he? What Jared is that? I want to grab that Crewwear Mannix. Yeah, I'm waiting on mine. Shout out to NAFSALE. Still haven't tried tried a Herman. Much need. Yeah, you definitely need to try one. Definitely need to try one. That's try the Ishtar. That's the first one you should try. The Ishtar, to me, that thing is shockingly good. I think they're all really good. But yeah, Sharp by Design is really good. That's definitely a company that knocks out of the park as far as custom knives goes. And shout out to NAFSALE. I think I have them linked down in the description. Let me just double check really quick. They should be. Yes, they're linked at the damn near the top of the description. Not quite the top, but they're right under the knife dealers I recommend and much more below. Check them out if you want to sell your knives or possibly buy new knives. They recently had a Holt Haptic on there that sold within an hour. So they always have new stuff dropping on there, but you have to keep up with it and you got to pay attention. But if you're wanting to sell your knives, it's a great place and a trustworthy place to sell them because, you know, you could just sell them yourself on Instagram and things like that. But then, you know, you're not protected when it comes to the person buying it. I just got a Precision Knife Works Warntech today. Wow, definitely a great knife and a must buy for 2023. Titanium scales, 20 CV, hologram reversible pocket clip. Yeah, no, I have one of those. It's really good. That is one I've been screaming about since the prototype. Yeah, it's a really good one. That is a phenomenal knife. They did a really good job on that, and he also he offers full hollow grinds. Like, it comes with a hollow grind, but if you want like a super thin hollow grind, he'll regrind it for you for so much money. Tactical Center says when it's $300 to $400, it's not worth it at 60, and you should see the markup on a lot of these knives. Dealer costs. I know exactly how much they cost. Like, that's what you're forgetting. I literally know exactly what each piece costs, what the OEM prices are. I know what all that stuff is. So I know exactly what it costs, but I also know all the legwork and everything of when it gets down to the buyer, how much they actually make and how much the companies actually make. I know exactly what the margins are. So it's not, it's, you know, like people make it seem like it's a lot more than it is, because once you get done paying, you know, all the vendors and this and that, and everybody gets their fucking cut, it's a lot different. But granted, you don't have to buy anything. If it's not worth it to you, don't buy it. Don't buy it. But to a lot of people, it is, because a lot of people, like, say, like, let's just for an example, the Ziphius, right? Ziphius, it's a limited edition knife. It's very limited, so there's only so many that's going to be made. It's an amazing knife. The fit, finish, tolerances, action, every detail on that thing is checked. Check, 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 check. The only thing is it's slightly on the softer side as far as the HRC. It'll still sharpen up really good. It deburrs really good. I've never had a burr problem with any knife. So the heat treatments are at least decent enough. So, but as far as edge retention goes, you might be about 150, 100 feet less of cardboard, you know, difference from, like, say, a Riyadh or something like that. You know, maybe more, maybe less. Just depends on, you know, what Riyadh does, you know, say the most extreme and the most extreme. Yeah, maybe a couple 100 feet. But the point is, though, is that most people aren't even going to notice that. And I'm not saying that's a good argument. I'm just saying that most people, the people that are buying it, they might not give a fuck. They're like, dude, I'm opening boxes and packages with this thing. I'll never sit there and break down 600 feet of cardboard with this knife. So they don't give a shit about that. That doesn't matter to them. They want to make sure that, will it get sharp? Yes. Will it stay sharp? Will it stay sharp for a long time? Is it got good corrosion resistance? Is the fit and finish great? Is an amazing knife? Then, you know, as long as it checks all those things, then it's great for them. Now, I would say that will matter if you're talking about, like, say, a Spyderco, something where it's like, this is a work knife. This is a knife that I am using to break down hundreds of feet of cardboard. You know, like when I used to take my knives to work and I used to break down and I used to have to use my knife all day at work. There were times I'd go through 3 knives in a day and I didn't have time to sharpen them. So I'd have to just trade out knives, you know, and get to a new knife. There were times like I'd bring Maxace and I'd burn out Maxace in a day. Just because of how much cutting I was doing. So I get why somebody would want that. But with certain knives, those aren't usually the knives that you're taking to do stuff like that. You know, a lot of knives, and I'm not, like I said, I'm not saying that's a great argument. You know, if you don't want to buy it, you don't have to invest in it. But most people don't care. Most people will. Now, granted, that's also why they'll continue doing it. And trust me, like I've been bitching about it for a long time, you know, and but it just, you know, people, and that's where I've gotten to the conclusion that a lot of people don't care. They don't care enough to where they're not willing to buy it, right? So since they're willing to buy it, the company's going to keep doing it. You know, they're selling out. So it just is what it is. But I'm not mad at it too much, you know. Granted, I wish it was higher, but like I said, as long as it's got to, because I've felt horrible heat treatments. I have felt steel heat treatments that literally I'm angry about. Like, after sharpening and testing it, like, I'm pissed. So, you know, with their stuff, you know, I've never been pissed. I've never been pissed off about it. It's never gotten to the point to where I've sharpened it and the burr won't come off, or I'm sharpening it and as soon as I knock off the burr, it microchips all the hell. I've had Demcos. I had the first Demco 80 20.5 I had. It literally, when you sharpen it, it came off and it was flaky. The steel was flaky. I had never seen anything like that in my life. And I had 3 other people that went through the same problem as me. So it wasn't just me. And you could clearly see it. Like, after, when you were sharpening it, the burr didn't come up as a burr. It came up as flakes. And literally you could just flip it back and over and it would just stay a flake. It was so weird. I'd never seen that before. So, like, you know, Jared is correct. If I answer, oh shit, I gotta get this going. Steven, thank you for the 10 bones, man. Sorry, it took me a second. Table Fund, I appreciate it, brother. Thank you so much. Shout out to you. Dennis says, Jared is correct if I answer stick to the protocol from the company if someone asks how he should heat treat a certain steel. I just, man, I do wish that all companies did optimal, you know, or what we would consider optimal. But they also, you know, there's a reason why a lot of companies don't, right? There's a reason, right? And I know some people would say it's just because they don't want to, or because it costs them. Yeah, it might cost them a little bit less because it's easier for them to grind. But also, there's less fuck ups. You know, when you start pushing the limits of a steel, it's more challenging, and not even just more challenging. There's more room for error. So there's probably a point of error that they're not willing to lose, you know, because like you got to consider, I'm not 100% on this, but I'm pretty sure the higher you go, the more, especially in large batch production. I'm not talking about like small batch. I'm talking about large batch when you're doing hundreds of knives at a time or however many they do. I don't know. When you're doing so many at a time, your room for error is a lot bigger. So what's going to happen is, like, say out of 100 knives, instead of only 3% being bad, you're going to have like 15%, right? So then now you got to swallow those. Like, that's a loss on your end. And then it's going to be harder to grind. So it winds up becoming a lot more variables than us just saying, you know, like what we want. Of course, I know what I want, but you know, Jared, stop being foot cut scared and hang them knives back up, you fucker. Oh, doing some late night grocery shopping, watching Neves lives. Gotta get it where you can. Facts. Thank you, brother. I appreciate coming with you on your grocery shopping. I need to do some myself. Just picked up a Curtis F3 in a tray that doesn't suck. I'm in shock. Very cool. Hell yeah, happy that it's nice. I've had some of those that are really good, and I've also had some that are eh. I used to the one knife, I can't even remember the name of it, but that used to be like my grail. The one with like I don't know. They had like a spear point blade and like the bullseye clip. I would look at that thing and I thought it was like the sexiest knife in the world. But yeah, that was a long time ago. My two Drybecas from Giant Mouse are definitely on the soft side, but they sharpen a tad easier and are still great cutters. There you go. Yeah, I would say Giant Mouse is, unless if Riat's doing it, you're pretty much guaranteed they're going to be on the softer side. If it comes from Italy, it's going to be on the softer side. And yes, they definitely take it to the extreme. That's where I can kind of, you know, it's difficult for me to argue because like say I could kind of debate because like I said, I've never had an issue sharpening them, but the stuff from Italy, I've had plenty of problems with. So I can't even, you know, I can't even argue that. They need to up their shit. They definitely need to boost their shit up bad. Sometimes they do it okay, but then there's other times where it's like on a level of soft that it shouldn't be for the price. We shouldn't have to pay the premium price for that type of steel at that, like that, you know, because you're not paying just for the steel, you're also paying for the heat treatment, right? Like, you know, when you're paying a premium price, you're paying for the steel to be heat treated properly. And I used to say this back in the day because companies would say, this was a long time ago, you know, before when they were really fucking off. Let me be clear. This was when every steel was bad. You know, like you test 20 companies and only 2 companies would come back okay, and all the rest of them would be fucking garbage. They started upping their game after everybody started testing their shit, but they would say, if we do it that hard, then we're gonna have to charge more. Most people were like, we don't care, we'll pay it, right? What is it gonna be, $10 more? We'll pay it. To me, I was like, fuck that. Why should it be more money? It's all, you have, the price of the knife is already a premium cost. Why does it have a premium cost? Because you're using M390 or whatever the steel is, right? If you're using that steel already, why can't it just be done well? You know what I mean? Like because that's what I'm paying for, right? It's like I'm paying for the premium materials, the premium product with the premium price tag. Why does it have to go up more to be done properly or to be done well? Like, that just doesn't make, that never made sense to me. I kind of understand it now a little bit more, but back then I used to get so frustrated with that argument. Like, what the fuck am I paying premium prices for? Well, then you should be selling to me for budget prices then, if you're gonna, talk like that. Microtech, HRC, and Sharp out of the box. They sound, yeah, that's another one for sure. They definitely are on the softer side, and yeah, they do high edge angles. I kind of understand why they do high edge angles, which is why they're soft. And the reason why is because they're looking for toughness, and they're still soft, so they don't want their edges rolling. If they had a low edge angle, it'd probably roll. So, it is what it is. I still love their knives, but yeah, it's tough, man, because yeah, their edge retention is not that great. But they're badass knives though, man. I love that they're USA made, and I would love to just scream about their heat treat. I'd love to just sit there and blow them up as far as like how the quality of their steels and grinds and everything else. But I can't. I can scream about how much I like them. I like the knives, I like the locking mechanisms, and things like that. But it'd be nice to see them really step it up, man. That I can't. The thing is, though, is that like I was just saying before, people are buying them, so people don't care. Like people care. Like I care. You guys might care, but a lot of other people don't give a fuck. Otherwise, they wouldn't sell out as fast as they do. They sell fast. So why would they ever raise it? Do you know they'll raise it tomorrow if literally all their MSIs sat on the shelf, were not being bought, and every single person was leaving comments saying, I would buy it if the HRC was higher. If that was the thing, they would instantly up that HRC. You'd see within like a few weeks, everything would change. Okay, so I personally would say, as far as the rolling knife sharpener goes, the Hortal 2 is better. Okay, let's just say this right now. The Hortal 2 is better, but not that much better to spend that much money. Hortal 2 is very expensive. It's way overpriced for getting the premium one, right? They have different versions. They have the mid-grade version and the premium version, but the premium one, it's like $400. For like the base one, it's like $200, but then you're getting you're limited to like 2 stones, and you're not getting the strap, you're not getting all the good stuff. So get the Work Sharp. That's the one to go with. The Work Sharp, it works really good, just as good. The Hortal works a little bit better because it spins 3 rotations for every 1 rotation, but the Work Sharp's great. Now I do have a very budget version coming up that's very affordable that I have going on in a video very soon. A company sent me a whole bunch of very cheap products. I picked the products out, and I tried to pick products that I felt like my audience would like to see, and they were reasonably priced, and also very affordably priced, I should say. So and there is one of those in there. I have not tested it yet, but I assume it's going to be probably similar to the tumbler. But we'll see, but that's a lot cheaper though, to be honest. I think it's way cheaper than even like the tumbler. I think it's like $30 or something. I haven't been a huge Spyderco fan, but am hopeful for the Crew Carta line coming about. So I love Spyderco, man. Spyderco is one of my favorite, if not my favorite company. They do a hell of a job. They do their steels really well. Optimal HRCs. Their cutting performances are always good. The sharpening them is always like when I sharpen them versus any other knife, they always come out like with like the best edges. And then their locking systems are really good. There's just a lot of great things about them. They deal with they're USA or Taiwan or Japanese made. I don't ever fuck with the Chinese ones, but they seem like they're all pretty well done. Jared, you got to check out Peter Santello. It's a great video or great view into U.S. both city and rural. Great view into the U.S. both city and rural. I don't understand what that means, but okay. Peter Santello. I'll have to remember that. Let me scroll down. I got a few minutes to chill before I get ready to go out, so I figured I'd come hang out with you guys. I was actually just talking about you. I've been sending you some sharpening clients. Hopefully they contacted you. I've sent you a couple in the past couple weeks. A few in the past couple weeks. Does anyone believe we actually went to the moon? I don't know. I don't know if that's I mean, I could argue for why it doesn't seem like it, and I could argue for why we did. I don't really know, man. I don't know. I think we did. I think we did because I think like they have proved that you can see the flag like with certain telescopes or whatever, like with the Hubble telescope. But I've never fucking seen it, like like with my own two eyes, like on the telescope. So that could be fake too, but I don't know, man. It's tough, man, because I do know there was a lot of faked footage. There was a ton of faked footage. So since there was a ton of faked footage, I would argue that we probably did. We probably faked some footage just in case, but then we probably really did make it up there and it probably really did work out. But I don't know, man. I don't know, man, because I'll tell you what, a lot of things that like not that I trusted, but that I thought you could kind of trust the government and shit with like that is just totally went out the door now. Like I don't trust anything that like I got conspiracy theories running back to like the beginning of time with with the things we've been told, because it seems like everything now, and which is probably just because everything now is propaganda, and since everything's propagandized, it makes it to where it's easy to start looking at everything like that, and maybe things weren't like that as much in the past, but it is now. So now, which I'm grateful that we have the internet, because it makes it to where we have the ability to share footage, to share recordings, to show the reality, and all these things. But it also makes it very easy for them to manipulate us with the very same tool. So you have the people that are being manipulated by it, and also the people that are being woken up by it. Moth goes into the the pediatrist office and says, I get this is going to be a joke, I'm guessing. The moth goes into the pediatrist office and says, Doc, you gotta help me. I'm suicidal. Pediatrist says, okay, but I'm a pediatrist. Why did you come in here? Moth says, the light was on. I can't stop carrying and using the SMOK. The hollow grind deployment option, size, and blade shape are perfect for me. Yeah, the SMOK's a good one. I really like the Kapara. I think I like the Kapara a little bit more than the SMOK. I love the SMOK. I think the SMOK is great. But for some reason, man, that the Kapara is, I love that. The shape, I love the handle shape. Quiet carry, drift, large, and black tie, or wait for a 9. Will I still want the 9? You'll still want the 9. They're just different. They're two different knives. The drift, it's on washers, so it is thinner, slicier. I'd say this is the better EDC, but it just depends on what you're doing for EDC. But the other one's more comfortable in the hand. It's more fidget friendly. It feels a little bit more premium. So speaking about the 9, I know they're not super rare or anything, but for anyone else interested, DLTS Gale Bradley 2's in stock. Picked one up after seeing it in your channel. Hope it's a dope work knife. It is a great work knife. The problem is the lock bar access. You're probably going to want to cut that out. I cut mine out. It's very easy to do. Get yourself a carbide cutting bit, and you just get a Dremel. Get a Dremel carbide cutting bit, and then the sandpaper wheel, and you'll be able to cut out the G10 micarta, whatever yours is going to come with, and then cut out the steel with the carbide cutting bit, soften it up with the sandpaper. It'll look like the factory did it, but definitely do that. It will massively improve that knife. That's the worst part about that knife, is that damn lock bar access. It is horrible. Better than average heat treat is value. So they are buying knives $300 to $400 that are not really that value. A budget knife can hit all those marks. I don't know. I wouldn't say that. I'd say the proof's in the pudding, I would say, because what company is hitting that mark at that range with all the same premium materials? Not really any. You know, Spyderco used to, but not anymore. You name it. I mean, they don't have any new titanium frame locks that haven't been on the shelf for 5 years. Any new titanium frame locks in a premium steel with a premium heat treatment that's under 300-400 bucks. Um, you know, I'm sure there are some companies here and there that can maybe pull it off, but that doesn't reflect another company because some companies' overhead's not as much. You know, like there's a lot of different variables. Um, you know, some companies have a huge team. They have lots of teams to pay. Like they do a lot more, but it does depend. But yeah, not a, you don't have to buy it. That's the thing, man. You don't have to buy it. Nobody has to. You can buy whatever your heart desires. I'm gonna scroll down. Guys, I didn't realize I'm so backed up. Holy shit. I am so sorry, guys. Anthony, thank you, man. He's been a member for 5 months. Thanks for talking with me. That was cool. Good guy. Not a problem, Anthony. I'm always here. And thank you for the support. I'm sorry, guys. I'm so backed up. I'm just gonna scroll right down to the bottom. If you guys said anything you guys want me to see, just say it again. I apologize. I'll scroll up a little bit here and there, but I was born in Cape Canaveral Hospital and lived in Central Florida for 38 years. I have seen a ton of shuttle launches. I've seen the shuttle launch too. But that doesn't mean they're going to the moon. Is that what you meant by that? I don't know what you meant by that, but like, yeah, I don't know. I've seen a lot of shuttle launches, or I've seen a couple shuttle launches myself. So I don't doubt we're not doing like a lot of things in space. It's just it's weird, you know. Like I said, I personally think we have. I think we have been to the moon, if that's what we're still talking about. I do think there's a reason why people don't believe it, and I can understand that. But yeah. I don't have it here. I don't have it. Oh, yes, I do. The Wee Neferis. You can see I've been using mine. It's got schmuck all on it. Tape all on the other side. Yeah, this is a banger, man. This is such a good one. I freaking love this knife. Like if this was made by another company, I would expect it to be like 500 bucks. Especially like if it was USA, it'd be even higher, like $1,000, at least 1,000. But it is really, really good. This is definitely. I've sat here and thought about like what are going to be the knives of 2023 knives of the year, you know, and there's a handful, man, that I got in my head, and it's like it's so tough to figure out which one is going to be number one. Jared, is the Nefer still in customs? Yeah, thank you for the 5 bones, Bluetooth. Yes, it's still in transit, still in shipping. I think it made it through customs. I don't know, man. I don't know. I just know it's in transit. That's all I know. So should be any time now. I mean, I think what happened was they got caught up in customs. They might have gotten turned around. They probably had to reship them again. They probably got stopped at customs again. And then, you know, sometimes like things happen where like you guys have probably had this happen where you mail something and instead of going to its destination, it goes the opposite fucking way. Like one time I tried to mail a package and it went like it was only supposed to go like to like 1 state away, 2 states away. It wound up going all the way to California and then almost boarding a ship to be transported to like some other country. They caught it there and realized that no, this wasn't supposed to be shipped, you know, internationally, and they wound up sending it back. And it's like, but it took like 2 weeks to do this whole round trip of all this bullshit. You know, it's not perfect. Imagine if Riat made that Wee knife worth it with proper heat treatment. Yeah, but you know, Riat, if you've talked to any of the knife companies, like personally, Riat is like triple the size of any of these companies. Like they're massive. They're a massive company. They have massive amounts of money. They're their ability is a lot higher than a lot of the other companies. Their capabilities, even they're down to their workers. The workers that they have are real like artisans and shit. So, you know, that's the reason why their shit is so perfect. And like the machinists that are in there have been going to school to be a knife machinist since they were like 10 years old. Um, but anyways, so yeah, I would say, yeah, it probably would be, but it'd probably be about $150 more. You know, at least $100 more, because most Riats, you know, Riats, what they start, if they have the Riat name on there, they usually start at like 350 bucks. These ones were what, 300, 290 to 310 or something like that. I think something like that. So it's going to be $50 more, which is probably where the heat treatment, you know, part comes in. Uh, hey, Jared, hope you're well. You have any knowledge of the Stitch and FRN? What about it? Yes, I have one. I own one, if that's what you're asking. I have one, and yeah, it's. I like the knife. I love the knife. I wish the steel wasn't as soft as it is, but it's a good knife. I love the geometry. I love the blade shape. I think it's a fantastic tactical knife. I can grab it. So, yeah, I love the Stitch. This is this one's in G10. Sorry, this one's not in FRN, but the Stitch period. If you're asking me if one's available, I don't know where there's any available right now. I linked some MSIs yesterday, but yeah, I really like the Stitch. This is probably my favorite Microtech right now, next to the SOCOM Elite. I really like the SOCOM Elite, but you don't those are rarely available in plain edge manual knives. I want to see Microtech do more and more manual knives like we're seeing right now, which they have been doing. So they have been listening. But yeah, this blade shape, man, it's like, it's such a good blade shape for like tactical reasons and EDC all put together. That's what I love about it. Yeah, I messed up. Mine's a G10 one. Can you do a top 10 most disappointing knives of the year also? Benchmade, anything special, especially the narrows, should have at least 5 spots. That's hilarious. I usually do stuff like that. I don't know if I'll call it that, but yeah, that'd be pretty cool. Usually what goes on those lists are knives that had a problem, that had an issue. But I guess the issue with that one would be the price tag. So yeah, that could probably be considered that. So obviously we can take our knives apart. Is it possible to take the blade and correct the heat treatment? Not without, you'd have to have the right stuff. I would say no. In most cases, no. I'm sure there's people out there that are highly professional that have all the equipment to do it, but most people do not. So I would say no. Because if you ask that question, then I would say no. You know, because if you already knew the answer to it, you know, and that means you have the equipment and you can do it yourself. MC with the 6,000 a stitch, though 1,000 was insane to pay. The $6,000 stitch, yeah, that's crazy. $1,000 is crazy, but I paid $315 for this one. It's not a custom though, right? So my SOCOM has a loose glass breaker. Any info on how to tighten it? Just tighten it. It should just tighten right up. To my knowledge, maybe take it apart and make sure nothing's loose. Maybe drip some glue in there or something. So obviously, I read that. I have the SOCOM Bravo. It's one of my favorite knives. Benchmade has lost their friggin' minds with the prices recently. Yeah, we were saying that a few years ago. Now we're just like, holy shit. Because you think like they're gonna listen to us. They're gonna listen to us. There's no way they're gonna get worse than this. Then the next year they're like, hold my beer. Hold my beer. You guys thought we had high prices? You guys thought we had high prices? Well, just wait till you see what's coming out this year. Then get back to us. Is the D2 on the Beg Knives Bodega worth it? I say so. I want to say yes, and the reason why isn't because I'm arguing for D2, but the knife is so good that I don't think it's bad. So D2 is not a bad steel. You just don't want to pay a shit ton for it. That's the whole thing. It's a great budget steel. It really is. Like, you know, when you, because there's a lot of shitty steels, right? But when you're talking about just good budget steels, you know, it's in there. It's in there. So it's a good budget steel, but you don't want to pay a lot for it from production companies. The reason why is because so D2 has the potential to be a badass steel. Like I guarantee, like if a Steve Kalari fucking heat treated some D2, it'd be some fucking great D2, like really good D2. And I've tested some really good D2 from Medford. I've tested even some CPM D2 from Benchmade was really good. But most companies are doing these large batch productions, so they're not coming out good at all. Because that steel is just not made for large batch production heat treatment. So anyway, so you don't want to pay a lot for it considering that, unless if it's done in small batch, you know, and is very controlled. So at $120, you know, the knife you're getting is a great knife. The action's insane. So I'd say if it's your style, if you like that, you know, if you like the way it looks and it's your style and all that, I would say yes, the knife is worth it. I personally like the knife a lot. So maybe I'm a little biased in this, you know, sense because I love the knife. So if you like the way it looks and all that, then I would say yes. But if you're looking for great edge retention and you're going to be using it as a work knife for great edge retention, then I would say no, it's probably not. You probably should invest in something with, you know, for $120 with a little bit better ups, you know, better steel. But you know, it's not outrageous. Granted, I did talk to them and I did tell them that he should probably bring down the price or up the steel. And he says he's going to work on getting some different steels in there. It's going to be a little while, but the last Benchmade I bought was an Emissary about 11 years ago. Damn. Benchmade is like Bud Light. The time bailout is crazy price, but found it on Cutlery Shop for 350 bones. You know what? What's funny is that Benchmade, you know, I've had some great Benchmade steels. They can kind of, with some of their steels, not all, like there's some that they do a really good job with. So I don't want to paint the brush across, you know, the board, but their 20 CV specifically, their M390 20 CV is soft. And I do think that they should be a company that should want to be better than because they're more money, you know, they do cost more. So you're paying a premium cost for materials that are subpar. Great materials, great materials, but compared to some other companies that are using titanium and this and that and hollow grinds and blah blah blah. But you would think that they would want to compete with some of those companies, you know, like Spyderco and shit like that. Even Hogue. You know, Hogue does a really bad job with their 20 CV too. So I don't want to say Hogue does a good job with their 20 CV or M390 because they do it very soft too. They at least up their HRC on their Magna Cut though. So that's a good thing. The tie bailout is crazy price, but found it on Cutlery Shop for 350. Yeah, man. I don't care about the tie one. I'd like the aluminum one. I keep saying that, and eventually I'm gonna get one. But the Bodega has very beautiful action. It has really, really good action. The flipper tab's like one of the most comfortable flipper tabs. Benchmade doesn't own a doghouse. Benchmade lost me when they destroyed a bunch of guns for the feds. Yeah, I didn't really care about that because those guns were gonna be fucking they're gonna be cut up anyways. Didn't matter who cut them up. They were gonna be cut up. Would you want them back on the streets? Like those are guns that have been confiscated from, you know, from murders and, you know, shit like that. Like they're not like, you know, your guns that were taken out of your house, you know, like at least to my knowledge. To my knowledge, they were all confiscated guns that couldn't go back to the owners. So I don't understand what you'd want them to do with them, you know, and some of them are probably not. And this is another thing people don't realize. Like I've dealt with guns my entire life. There are sometimes guns get to a point to where, you know, unless if you're going to put a bunch of money into them, you might as well destroy it because it's dangerous, you know, like it hasn't been taken care of. If it's been stored improperly, you know, I've dealt with so many guns my whole life. Like there's been guns that I've seen stored for years and years and the person just did not take care of them. And then they give it to me and they want me to clean it all up, which I do, and it winds up coming out pretty good, but it winds up costing a bunch of money that it's like this gun's not even worth this. It's not even worth the amount of money that you're paying me. You could just go buy a new one. So, I kind of understand why, and yeah. And then there's also like say if I have a shotgun, right? And say if I saw off the barrel, I scratch out the code on, the numbers on it. That gun is just going to be chopped up. They're not going to take it and say, let's put a new code on it. Let's put a new barrel on it and sell it. No, they're not going to do that. They, in a lot of cases, it's been in some violent crimes, and like I said, I've dealt with a lot of guns on the streets. So my whole life I've dealt with guns on the streets. So a lot of my friends have, gotten into police chases and have been arrested with, illegal firearms. And yeah. The heat treat range for D2 is just way too tight. Yes, way too tight for large batch production. Get custom heat treatment in D2 and it's absolutely best. Yeah, that's what I mean. Because when you're doing a large batch, or sorry, a small batch, or you're doing a small batch, you can have those numbers tighter, right? If you're doing just 2 or 3 knives inside of the oven, and you can make sure the temperature is even between the 3. But if the oven is a 10-foot oven, and you have 150 knives in there, you can't say that the one in the corner is the same temperature as the one in the middle. So, and their range I heard is within 50 degrees. So within 50 degrees D2, like if it's over 50 or under 50, like, if it's not within 50 degrees of that margin, it goes bad. Or it's at least not good. Not optimal. D2 is good for edge retention and strength if the HRC is done correctly. Not so good for corrosion. Yes. I've sharpened a few custom fixed blades in D2 and it felt amazing on the stone. Totally different from regular production D2. Absolutely, Todd. Absolutely. Yeah, I had that one stuff from Benchmade shocked me. I could not believe how good that stuff was. I was screaming about it. You guys, I don't know if you guys remember, it was in a members live. I was sharpening it up for the first time, and that stuff felt so good. It was such a good steel. The way the burr came off, everything was phenomenal with that. It's same thing with some Medfords I've had, did the same thing, but it's not like, it's not the norm, right? It's not the norm. So Bodega is 62 HRC D2, but Benchmade's D2 at 59 surpass it in cut tests. And Benchmade Benchmade's D2 goes up to 62. Granted, Benchmade don't use D2 anymore. Yeah, I don't know. The D2 that I'm specifically talking about right now from Benchmade was CPM D2. I'm not sure if that's what you're talking about, Tactical Center, but the one I'm talking about is CPM D2. And yeah, man, I can't say that all that D2 was really good, but the one that I specifically tested was really good. Bodega is 14 C28M will be my jam. Yeah, hopefully that's what they do. That's what I'm guessing he's going to do. CPM D2 is good at 63, 64. Most are done between 60 and 62. Yep. I do like Hogue. The RSK is a good one. Yeah, I like the RSK too. I just don't like the steel. I did not like the steel at all. I felt like the steel needed to be better. How's that Padre? Fire. Really good. That's another one. That's another one that could go down into the list of the baddies of the year. The Padre, man. That's a badass knife. That's in my opinion, that's their best knife yet. I do have the other knife, the one with the crossbar lock coming, so I'll be testing that or trying that one here pretty soon. And we'll see which one's better. But I have a feeling the Padres still gonna win it. Puppet Boy with the 5 bones. Thank you, brother. Celebrating my birthday today by getting a CMB Predator 2.0 for 80 Aussie dollaroos, 52 USD. Puppet Boy, happy birthday to you, man. I appreciate the donation. And shout out to you for your birthday. I hope you get a badass CMB Predator because the CMB Predator is badass. Actually, when I just took off at the beginning, if you were here, I was actually bringing out a CMB Predator to my cousin that I sharpened up for him and a few other knives. But yeah, it's a good one. It's a really good one. Benchmade's 3V was soft for a while. Yeah, I think it's a little bit better now, but yeah, it was really soft for a while. I can't get my Maximum pair of 3 crispy sharp. Any suggestions? Yes. 1, use diamond. That's one thing. And I'm guessing you are, but use diamond. Start with a coarse. Start with something like a 140 grit to 250 grit, something in that range. Don't go any higher. Get your edge as good as possible on that stone, whatever stone that is. If it's a 140, if it's a 200, if it's a 100, whatever, get it as good as possible to where you have a burr on both sides. So sharpen up one edge, one side, make sure you get a burr from heel to tip on the opposite side. Flip it over, do the same thing, make sure you get a burr from heel to tip, and make sure your scratch pattern covers your entire bevel. Remember, you can get a burr in 10 seconds if your angle's too high. So make sure your scratch pattern hits your entire bevel from the top of the bevel to the apex. Next thing, as you're going through your stones, don't go over 600 grit. Stop at 600 grit. Now, you can go up to like 1,000 grit, but I would say just stick around 600 grit. That's where Maxace does the best. It takes a really good polished edge if you know what you're doing, but it's going to be it's going to take a lot longer, and it's not going to last. So the 600 grit edge will last the longest with Maxace. So that's what I would recommend. And the next thing is when you get down, so like when you get to your last burr, fatigue the burr as much as possible, very lightly, very gently, no pressure, literally no fucking pressure, because what you don't want to do is you don't want to take your finishing stone and change the scratch pattern on the edge. You want to just knock the burr off. So if you can use a ceramic, do that. Otherwise, whatever you have to use to knock your burr off. But you don't have to knock it all the way off. Fatigue it very, very good, and then take the strop and hit it on the strop, and the strop will peel it off. Sometimes with like S110V and Maxace and things like that, you want to just fatigue it and then take it off with the strop. Most steels, I would say you want to deburr on the stone, but sometimes in some cases it's better to do it that way. So try that. Do you have a knife that you consider a guilty pleasure? I guess the Herman knives, those will all be guilty pleasures. The Rockstead, I got a couple Rocksteads. Those are definitely guilty pleasures. Hi, Jared. This is Mike from Matamoros, Mexico. Do you have a knife recommendation in the blade shape between a petrified fish beluga and a Praxis? 70 USD range. Thanks again, and keep up your great content. I would say if you have $70, the best bang you're going to be able to do is from Civivi, most likely, or you can go with the CMB Predator for $65. That's a really good one. CMB Predator, really good. And it's got a super strong locking mechanism. Then other than that, there's check out just anything from Civivi you really can't go wrong with. So you could what the heck, the Conspirator, the Civivi Conspirator, that's a good one. It's between a Beluga and a Praxis. CMB Conspirator, that's a really good one. And it's a button lock one too. What's another one? Just to give you one more. What's another one? $70. Like I said, the like I said, anything from Civivi, that's what I would stick with if I was you. Because you're gonna get the best bang for your buck from them. When you get to 70, you could start stepping into Kizers. I'm struggling to think of one that would be perfect for you. But it's like 80, $90, but you can go with, and this is a good one, this is a great one, the KIZER Escort. Fucking banger. That's a great knife, but it's like $90, $85, $90. So try that, Miguel. Jared, don't put yourself in harm's way, bro. I am not. It's target practice like playing pool or darts. It's fun. Do you have a knife that you can? I already said that one. Never sacrifice quality to feed the addiction. Said no knife collector. Yeah, 50 degrees with D2 is absolutely enough to cause issues, right? Seymour Butts says, I had an idea for an OTF that would have the switch be a part of the blade. Thus, it would still be legal. A little awkward to actuate, but usable. How would you and everyone else feel about it? I'd have to see it. I definitely have to see it because I'm struggling to understand it. The only thing I can think of is if you have something like the what CRKT did with the thumb stud, where the thumb stud was a button and it pushed the lock bar. So what you did was you pushed the lock bar and then you fired it off. That's kind of what I'm thinking would have to happen with an OTF like that, but it's just tough. I don't know how that would work. Jared, which knife would you choose if you had to live in the woods? I would choose probably right now at this moment. If I had to choose right now in this freaking moment, it'd be one of those. It'd be the knife from Phobos. I'd grab one of the Phobos knives, probably the Magna Cut one. Maybe even that other one in 3V. Was it 3V? Yeah, in 3V. Yep, probably the one in 3V. Maybe even the one in Magna Cut, but they are coated, so I'm not worried about the corrosion. How's Demco's USA heat treat? Heard some of their USAs are starting to come with some imported parts. So I've only tested like a couple Demcos from the USA. I've tested a bunch from the Taiwan factory. I only have one from the USA factory in my collection, which seemed fine. It was good. I didn't test the edge retention, but the sharpening was really good. But I have had some issues with some of the OS 10 stuff, but that was a while ago. Since then, it seems like they got it figured out. Jared, which would you choose if you had to live? Oh, I already said that. Believe it or not, Kershaw's USA CPM D2 has done extremely well on the 3 knives I've had. Very cool. That's very cool. I think some of the USA companies are the ones that actually do it fairly well. And you got to think Chinese D2 is different than USA D2 because D2 is a steel that, like, as long as the composition's the same, like I think that we have probably a little bit more controlled D2. On an expensive knife, I would probably trust Medford's D2, but would have to be an experienced heat treater if they are charging hundreds. Yeah, like I said, Medford's was really good. Medford did a hell of a job, but Medford, all steels that Medford does is going to be really good because he does them all very control. I've seen his heat treatment thing, like his are all very small batches. He runs a few different ovens, and they're they can only do like 3 to 5 at a time, at max. So they're not big, they're small. So obviously they're going to be very controlled. I actually had a company trying to send me a forge. A company was trying to send me a propane forge. I was going to say yes. I just don't have any place to really set it up right now with where I'm at. So I denied it. Maybe in the future I'll get it. But yeah. The company had like a belt grinder, all kinds of shit they wanted to send me. I would love a budget stitch in S30. Just can't pay that price. Bidenomics. Ain't that the truth? Ain't that the truth? Love it. It's a super good one. Yeah, the Praxises have always been good. I've always liked the Praxises. I have one of the minis. I think I gave away one of the minis that I had, or the only mini I had. I now have a couple of the large ones, and they're 9 CR. Who have Buck used as the OEM on the Highlines D2 seemed to nail it, at least in the case of the one I got. I don't know who they're using, but I know they use the Boss heat treatment on a lot of their stuff, which is usually really good. I know as far as like their 440C, or sorry, 420HC, their 420HC is superior to most 420HC. I've tested it against other companies' 420. I even tested it against 440C one time. I did that in a video, so I recorded it. And yeah. Did you? From what Kunwu had them? They're not available on Blade HQ right now, right? Medford Z2 is on par with decent S35VM. Yes, it is. Exactly. It's the only steel that Medford heat treats decently. All the other harnesses and cut tests were not good. I've never had an issue with any of the steels from Medford. I can't speak to anybody else's cut tests or anything like that. I don't know how recent they were, but I haven't like tested all their steels, but the steels that I have tested, their S35 was really good. I have a few knives in their S35. They were all really good. I did do a little bit of their S90V, but they use a lot more steels now than they used to. So, but yeah, I've everyone I've sharpened, because I've had a ton of them in for sharpening. All of them felt really good on the stone. All of them took a really nice burr. The burring removal, like they snapped right off every time. Now they're very thick, so they take a long time to sharpen, but I did not, Eric, but that is definitely one I would have liked to have capped, but I did not, sadly. Let's talk about a couple fragrances really quick. And then maybe we'll pick a story for story time. Puppet Boy has been a member for 5 months. Should I upgrade KIZER Doberman from 154 to S35 yen? Should I up? What do you mean? Instead of getting the budget one, get the premium one? You know, I'll say this. The titanium one is much heavier. So expect it to be like double, triple the weight. It's very heavy compared to the budget one. I would say no, you don't need to do that in that case. But unless if you want the extra weight and the metal handles. Let me just scroll down, make sure I'm not missing anything. Do you think the Crewwear Manix XL coming out is better than the Crewwear Manix 2? Can't decide which to pre-order. I like the XL a little bit better than the regular one, even though I love the regular Manix. There's something about the XL that just I fucking love. The length of the blade, it makes it so much more slicey, in my opinion. The ergonomic, just everything about it. So personally, I say yes. I think the large one's better, but that doesn't mean I don't love the regular size one, because I do. All right, so one of the fragrances I want to talk about today is actually, it's discontinued. We talked about it last week briefly, but I did bring it out because it is discontinued. So if anybody's going to get it, you kind of got to get it now. The price is going up weekly. The more it runs out, the more it's going to become. It is kind of expensive compared to what it used to be, but it's something magical, and that is 1 million lucky. 1 million lucky. It looks like a brick of silver with some gold on there. This is the best sweet men's fragrance, in my opinion. It doesn't get any better. Even when I sprayed it before we went live, I sprayed myself. Kara came downstairs. She's like, "Oh my God, it smells so good." This stuff is hyper good. Like, man, I can't believe I've already used that much out of there. Holy shit. This stuff, it's sweet and obnoxiously sweet, but in a good way. And it's sweet in a way to where it makes you constantly want to get another smell of it. This is a very sexy fragrance for women to smell on men. It's a fragrance that you could wear on date nights. You can wear it clubbing. You can wear it anytime. You can wear it in cold weather. You can wear it in hot weather. I'd say it's going to lean more towards not super hot weather. Like if it's like blazing hot out, you're not going to want to wear this. But if it's cool or warm, this will be fine. But the absolute best, in my opinion. I have like thousands of dollars in fragrances. This is the absolute best sweet fragrance for men. Hands down. I've yet to have met anybody who has tried it and did not like it. It is a banger. Somebody getting lucky in that. I would say if anybody's wanting to get one, don't use my link down in the description. Just go and search for it, because you can get yourself probably a smaller one for more affordable. Right now, like I said, they're running out. So if you're going to get one and you want to get a smaller one, get it now, because soon they're only going to have the giant bottles, if not already. I grabbed the giant bottle because I once I seen that it was I might have to grab another one before they completely run out, because that's one I definitely do not want. I want to savor that one. Now, since that one's pretty expensive, I figured I'd give you guys another option. which is from Musk and Hustle. Now, Musk and Hustle, it's a little bit different. These are oils, but I freaking love number 201, which is ombre leather, basically. Or sorry, yeah, ombre leather, which is a Tom Ford fragrance. But these are super potent. They're not just like the fragrance. Like I have the actual fragrance right here, which is amber and leather. This is a knockoff version of it, and they smell similar, but this is way more subdued than this one. This is like it's more of a what's it called? It's just much more potent, you know. So when this is, you're gonna smell this a lot farther. This is an oil. You just roll it on and then dab it, and it's sweet. It's not. It has leather, a lot of leather in it. We can actually look up the note breakdown, but this is a spray that you can also get amber and leather. And it smells to me. The only thing about this one that I'm not a huge fan of is it does have a little bit of a lipsticky smell to it, but it's a semi-sweet leather fragrance. Let me just pull it up really quick. We'll just pull up Tom Ford Ombre Leather. So the Tom Ford version is going to be very expensive. These are the knockoff versions of it. But here, just so you can see the note breakdown of what it's supposed to be. But it's a really good fragrance. Like, to me, the Musk and Hustle is the way to go. They completely knocked this fragrance out of the park, and even better than I think the Tom Ford, to be honest. So you can see the breakdown right there. Now, I would say what it's not showing you here is the sweetness, which I think comes from the amber. However, what's going to happen though is if you get the Musk and Hustle, it is much sweeter. So it actually has, because it's more concentrated. That's the point. This is a high concentration. This is a low concentration. That's the difference. So this one doesn't smell a lot like this one, even though they're similar because they're supposed to be the same scent. This one is more airy and is nowhere near as strong. This one is a lot sweeter and a lot more potent. And if you don't know, Musk and Hustle, these are little nitro pens. They sell the pens, the little nitro pens. They have little tiny ones too, and you can get a sample package. And if you look down in the description, maybe did I put one down there? I don't think I did. You know what? I'll grab one really quick. I'm going to put a sample package down there just for you guys. They're like 33 bucks for 5 popular fragrances. But you know what, though? I don't like the blend. I'm not going to put it down there. Go and just look it up. Musk and Hustle. Go to their site, because then you can pick out the ones you want, because the ones I can link right now, I like some of them, but I don't think the whole batches are very good. Like, they have some mixtures of stuff that I wouldn't recommend. Tonight's B-Day go out perfume is Prada Candy. I got I've tried Prada Luna Rose, and then what is it? Prada Home something. I can't think of the name of it. That's one's fucking really good though. Yeah, Prada makes some good fragrances. They got some good shit. Ralph Lauren Purple Label, hands down best. I'm gonna have to try that one. I have not tried that one. But you guys already know, man, the one I've been all hyped about, which you can get it right now for 42 bucks, is the damn Game Time. This stuff is an absolute banger. Oh my goodness, this shit's good. I was actually, like I was saying yesterday, I'm not gonna wear it. I'm gonna wear something else, and then I still wound up wearing it. The Versace Dylan Blue is another one, man. This stuff is magical. This is the one I recommend to most men, because it's just so versatile. It's one of the best men's fragrances. But the Game Time, man, it's tough, man. Which one I like more at this point? Happy birthday, Lacey. They do have some banging scents. I didn't know it was your birthday, Lacey. It's your birthday. Happy birthday. You want your 6-gun to smell like lavender. Why? Your 6-gun? Why would I want my 6-gun to? I wouldn't. I would want myself to smell like good. I don't know about lavender, but lavender isn't a lot of men's fragrances. James, thank you. And I promise I will. Doing makeup now. I wore YSL YEDP today. That's a banger. That's a really good one. I love all the YSLs I like. They were at one point my favorite fragrance was the YSLs. My favorite one is the Parfum probably, but then none of them are bad though. All of them are, at least all the ones I've tried have been really good. That apple note from the top, oh, it's so good. Versace light blue, yes, Versace light blue. I like the Dolce & Gabbana light blue intense. That one's really good. But the Versace light blue bottle, the one you're talking about, that's Pour Home. The Versace Pour Home, yeah, that one's really good. That's like the best office and gym fragrance. That's actually usually what I wear when I go to the gym. I wear the Versace Pour Home because it's just fresh. It literally smells fresh and clean. It smells like clean linen. That's what I like to say. It just like smells like clean linen, so nobody can be upset at it. And actually, I got stopped at the gym and asked, "What am I wearing?" because they wanted to get it. I have a dilemma because I buy all these colognes. I won't be able to afford my crippling knife addiction. I understand. That's why you just need to get the best. You don't want to get them all. Just get the best, right? Get yourself some game time. Get yourself some Versace Dylan Blue. If you have the money, get the 1 million Lucky. I can't recommend that enough. But I understand though that this would be pricey because it's discontinued. But when you get it, you'll be like, I'm fucking so glad I got this because it's a banger. The other one that's really good is Alexandria Brooklyn Fragrance Lover. That's a really good one. There's a lot of really good ones, man. I could go on and on. Now, if you want some crazy fragrances, I got some crazy ones, some ones that I wouldn't recommend to everybody, but I recommend everybody get a sample of and then see if it's your style, because that's how it goes. Like, certain fragrances are for everybody, right? They're mass appealing. Like the ones I've labeled today, all mass appealing. Just about everybody's going to like it. But then there's some that 50% of people are going to love it, 50% of people are not. Nobody's going to just like downright hate it, but it's not going to be their style, right? But if it is, it becomes like kind of like an acquired taste where you wind up falling madly in love with it, and like it winds up becoming like your signature scent, and it's literally the most attractive thing you've ever had because it's your style. Kind of like what happened with me with red tobacco, man. So red tobacco, that stuff is just like, I've gotten so attracted to that. But at first, I didn't like it. Is the best 1 million Lucky the EDT or the Parfum? I think it's EDT. Yes, EDT. EDT. That's the best one I found. That's the one I've replaced. But make sure it's Lucky though. Make sure it's Lucky because the Lucky is I have other 1 millions. That's the best one, in my opinion. I just grabbed the QC9 and Magna Cut with the new carbon fiber scales on Thursday. Already sold out the next day. I almost got. Yes, red tobacco is one. Exactly. Red tobacco is one of those. Yes. I know, man. I want to grab one of the Magna Cut ones. I have the 20 CV version, so there's really no reason. I want to get one because I want to get the micro milling ones. There was like 100 bottles of 1 million Lucky for sale when I went shopping with my sister the other day. I wish I had known about it. Must have been a discontinued sale. There are discontinued. It is a discontinued sale. That's why I'm telling you guys, get it now. So when it's gone, it's fucking gone. And this is something that'll go down in history as one of the best fragrances ever done. Hopefully they make a flanker of some sort, revamp it or something. I don't know why they would discontinue it, but if you guys don't know, in fragrance worlds, they're known for doing that. They'll take a fragrance that everybody's like just killer over, like they just wants, they're die hard for it, and they'll discontinue it. I don't know exactly why, but they do it. It happens all the time. Gucci Guilty, any good? Yes. Gucci Guilty is a sweet one. I have it right here, actually. Gucci Guilty, right here. Yeah, it's a super sweet. It almost smells like it has a hint of like mango or something in there, but yeah, it's a very sweet. It's a sweet fragrance. I would say it's more for the weather, at least in Chicago weather right now, like where it's cooler weather. Doesn't have to be ice cold weather, but cooler weather, not super, super hot. You might be able to pull it off in pretty warm weather though. But yeah, it's just a super sweet, super fresh, crowd pleasing fragrance. It's a fragrance that nobody's going to dislike. I trusted it on Kara, even, you know, Kara's going to like, I'll know what pretty much what she's going to like. But with Gucci Guilty, everybody's gonna like it, at least every girl, you know, and like most men are gonna like it, whether or not it's for them to wear. Some men might say it's a little too sweet for them, they want something a little bit more masculine, but men that like fragrances will always like it, you know. And then once you wear a fragrance like that and you wear it around and you realize the compliments you get and how much everybody likes it, it makes you start liking to wear fragrances like that. Her favorite new one is Tube Steak, she told me. Do you have any gravity knives? I have many gravity knives. Yes, I do. I pretty much have all of them. Right now, I only have 2 out, but I do have 3 of the minis. I got the large one. I got the locking medium-sized one right here. It's probably my favorite one right now. They do have a locking version of the large one. I'm waiting for it to come out with like a dagger or spear point one. That's my favorite blade shape, is the spear point or the double-edged. This one's a double-edged dagger. I do have 3 different versions of the mini. I'll probably give one of those to one of you guys, because maybe to one of the Patreons, because Riat sent me 3 of them fuckers, so gotta do something with them. Maybe I'll just sell them to you guys. Any panographics? What does that mean? If you want to smell manly, get Fahrenheit. See, I need to try Fahrenheit. I remember you said that the last time. I'm going to try it. I'm definitely going to try it. But I can tell you a lot of manly fragrances. Fuck, even Game Time. Game Time's super manly. Yeah, there's Dylan Blue's super manly, super masculine right here, but very crowd pleasing. The ladies love it. All right, so let's do, I'm so confused why they didn't go with a more traditional blade shape on the locking full size XOs. I just think they were just trying something new. I think they're going to do more. I think they're continuing to do like a ton of them. So they're not stopping. You'll see, they'll do more. They'll have other versions. That was just one. I'm trying to think of a story to tell. I did have one earlier. I'm trying to remember what it was. It's a collateral style knife. I don't know what panographic means either. Okay. Yeah, I'm not sure. I got this thing though. Check this out. Somebody was asking me about it a couple weeks ago, and I didn't realize how close it was. So this is the Raven. Have you guys seen this one? If you guys been following me for a while, you guys have seen it. So there's a detent here. See that? A detent right there. So you hit that detent, and then now it'll swing out, and you can lock it. But you can also lock it in any position you want. So I can lock it there. I can lock it here. I can lock it right there for like really good utility cuts. I can just let it drop, swing it open. It's a gravity knife too, just a different kind. Once you get good at it, it's pretty easy to use. I do have some other, there's basically 18 balls right here in the pivot. And that's how each one locks. So it's like locking on a detent. Or on a ball, not detent. But it's rock solid. Very unique though. That is definitely a rare one right there. Hey, Stasha23 is in the house. Shout out to Stasha23. Definitely go and check out his YouTube channel. He's got the best YouTube channel, best knife content on YouTube. So you definitely don't want to miss his content. Daily Carry Co. is coming out with a gravity knife in 12C and aluminum for $100. Gravity knives for the masses. I seen a company. I'm guessing it's them. Yeah, I seen that. We'll see how it goes. Hopefully, it's really good. I'm guessing we're gonna see more and more companies doing that. Maybe I should hurry up and do it. Thank you, Todd. I didn't make it there. I'll tell you what, I got a new slip from Richter Knives. Really, really nice. I got the double stitching because I have one of these already, but it has single stitching. I requested double stitching this time. Yeah, this thing is sweet. I got the midnight in there, the midnight jack. Gotta love this one, man. Listen to that. This is probably the best walk and talk jack wolf I have. 18 balls in the pivot was my brand name in junior high. Aren't gravity knives more illegal than autos? Yeah, they're more illegal when it comes to amount of areas that have made them illegal. They're not more illegal in the sense that when you get arrested, you're going to get a bigger fine. But as far as the most places that have knives restricted, yeah, they're going to be probably more restricted than OTFs automatics and stuff. So, just depends on where you're at, because there's a lot of places you can carry them. Everywhere you can own them as long as you're in the United States. You can own them in the United States. You just can't carry them in every city and things like that. Is the Shiro Hati any good? No. Looks like the F3. Hati has one side titanium and the other side carbon fiber versus the F3 is all carbon. So personally, I didn't like the Hati. I thought that because it's small and it's very good. It's a good knife. I'm not trying to say it's a bad knife. I just didn't feel the value. It did not feel like it felt like a $300 knife to me, a $250, $300 knife. It didn't feel like my Shirogorov F95 frag. It didn't feel like that. Or was it the F3R or whatever? The bigger ones are the ones you want to get. I would recommend if you're going to get one, get a full size one. Don't get the small ones. That's me. That's my opinion. If you have one, that's cool. I've had a ton of them I've tried a bunch of them. I just personally never got drawn to the smaller ones. I always felt like the bigger ones were more comfortable in the hand, had better action, had better everything. So, wonder when Jack Wolf is going to pull the trigger on the Gunslinger 2.0. I don't know, but I hope he does one with a spear point blade or a sheep's foot. I'm going to use my rich boy chump change to buy a Herman. Use my damn link, Big Daddy. Use my link. But hell yeah, you should. You definitely should. We should check them out right now. Let's check them out. Let's check out what Pulse Custom Knives has. They just got some new ones in, or about to. I know these are out of a lot of people's price range, but that's okay. You can just drool over them. So these are some of the new knives they just got in. These Lesbar knives. These things are insane, man. Look at the prices on those. Damn near $4,000. Holy cow. But looking at the Hermans, though, you got the Dragonfly. That's the one I need in the collection. I need the Slim and the Dragonfly. I haven't tried the Alima, which is the Dragonfly. I haven't tried the Dragonfly, and I have not tried the it's called the Slim or something like that. Oh, somebody bought the Damascus one already. So there was a Damascus one that just dropped. Somebody already bought it. Holy shit, that went fast. Damn, that went fast. That was a beautiful one. I was hoping we were going to be able to see that one. But it's gone. It's gone. And then you got some the Integras. I got the KANSEPT Integra coming. So we'll be checking that out here pretty soon. These ones are Damascus, but I'm personally, for me, some people, this might be your style of Damascus, but me, I like it to where the Damascus pops more. My favorite is, let's just go to their Instagram. You can see it. My favorite is the ones with the grays and the oranges. The one I'm going to show you guys right now is not a perfect example of that, but it's kind of like, you know what? There is a perfect example, though. I'll show you guys. These things are fucking sweet. All right, so here was some of the new stuff. I don't want to get demonetized, so we'll just flip through it. Oh, no, there we go. This one. Look at that one. That is gorgeous to me. I love because it's like this one's actually more greener than gray though. I actually seen it in better lighting, and it's this, man. Look at that. That's gorgeous. Holy shit. And you can see, I don't even know what that is, what the inlay's in. These things are crazy. Look at that, Herman. What is that? Yeah, they got some cool shit. Let me check out this one. Yeah, this is the one with the music. I can't play this one. See if I can pause it on the one. Yeah, I'll never catch it. It's dope though. But here, let me show you the one that I personally like. To me, this is so this type of Timascus is one kind. I like that one, with the orange and blues. But here's my absolute favorite. Hands down, my favorite kind of Timascus is right here. I freaking love that shit right there, where it's like gray and almost like an ice blue next to all the orange and red. Oh my goodness. That is badass. That's my shit right there. I love that. So if I was gonna really go crazy and buy some crazy Timascus, this is what I would pay for. This is what I would buy personally. Look at them layers. My goodness. Talk about centering, right? Damn, that is sexy. I wouldn't care so much about the steel on this one. As far as I wouldn't care if it was Damas steel or Damascus. It could be, you know, fucking whatever, Magna Cut or M398. Damn, look at those layers, man. That is so good looking. Holy cow. Yeah, I like that. That is a sweet knife. Somebody got it. The D2 on the Mini Claymore was outstanding. Should name one of your Hermans Hermione, like the chick's name from Harry Potter. Hermione? I never watched Harry Potter, so I wouldn't know. Did you see that Reich SO5 in Mosiak, Damascus that MC had on his channel a while ago? That was the most beautiful Damascus I've ever seen. I don't think so. I don't think I've seen that one. Maybe I did, and I just don't remember. Yes, it looks like hair. Exactly. That's what I say too. Holy shit, playing. See, I wonder though, like, could you make any Timascus like that? Like, is it just like the how much heat you put to it, right? That so I'm wondering, like, say if I took a Timascus knife, right, and I stripped off the anodizing and I re-anodized it with a torch and I retorched it, could I make it that color, or does it have? Is it gonna just come back the same way it was, you know, before I stripped it? I would imagine it's just how long you have the torch to it, right? You get to kind of, you know, pick what color you want. That's the way torching, anodizing works. I've done tons of torching anodizing. Jared, you loved the D2 you tested on the Redoubt. Yes, yes. That was the one I was talking about earlier from Benchmade, the CPM one. It's the CPM D2, but yes, yes, I loved that shit. The shit was amazing. Got a leaking bottle of Game Time. Good customer service. They're replacing it with the larger bottle at no cost. That's what's up. Hell yeah. There you go. Yeah, I'm telling you, man, Alexandria. Hopefully you got it from my damn link. That's all I'm saying. But yeah, no, they're the shit, man. I'm wanting to try some more from them. I think I might order another bottle. I do have, I think, one big bottle to. I don't remember now. I thought I bought one. I gotta look for that. It can be worked, but the different types of tie will anode slightly different from each other. Right. But you get to kind of pick the color though. Is Timascus done with only heat or is it done using electricity? It's done with flame, with fire. So if you're there's different kinds. So like the electric anode you see where they do the electric one, that one is where it's at least to my knowledge, it's where it's like torched really hot and then dropped into the acid really quick and pulled out really fast. And then like the Timascus ones, to my knowledge, it's the mixture in titaniums, right? So the titanium Damascus basically, and then torched. and it slowly goes down until, you know, you get to the bottom. And that's how you get the different colors. Now, you could probably do it electrically. I don't know. I'm sure you could. I don't see why you couldn't do it like that. I would imagine maybe you just get a different, you know, you get more of a controlled color pattern maybe. But I don't know. I've never done it. So, I mean, I've anodized before, but I've never done Damascus. Derek says you can use the electric anode as well. It can be reworked, but if the different types of tie will handle slightly different from, yes, right. Well, that's what I would expect. I'm just thinking about, you know, maybe doing some of my, I got a hinder where the anode's like really worn off and it's Damascus. I was thinking about stripping it and redoing it. Yeah, you could do that. But I think with that, the thing is though, is that when you do the torch, you can get the variations. Like when you do the electric, you do either one, you're gonna dunk it all and do the whole thing. So then, you know, the certain parts of titanium are all going to be that same color. With the torch, you really get to choose, like you can do different variations of colors, which is nice. Dude, you are buffering like fuck. Is it me or you? Ask the chat. Am I buffering? Let me know. We're about to get out of here anyways, guys. I was going to do story time, but it sounds like we just kind of shot the shit. I saw an interesting video from Maxace showing them doing the ano on Damascus using flames. Yep. Oh, I am? Okay, well, we'll just end it, guys. So, guys, thank you guys for all the love and support. I do appreciate all the donations tonight. Don't forget, we have a members live sharpening tomorrow, 12:15 Central Time. I will see you guys there. Hopefully you guys are set up with your sharpening shit, because we're gonna test some sharpening supplies. What else? Yeah, I think that's it. Work hard, stay tough. Until next time, peace.